All right, everybody, we are going to pick back up now. We are going to start with the iris. On my camera right now, you can see it is set to f1.8, and that is controlled entirely by what phone you have or what lens you're using on the phone. As you can see, if I go to another lens, let's say I were to use the 13 millimeter, you see my iris actually changed to 2.2. I'm going to go back to the 24. Again, that's the best. And then if I go to the 120, kind of hard to read, but my iris is now a 2.8. The reason I tell you that the 1X camera is the best camera that you have is because generally the lower the f-stop, the better the camera. And in this case right now, I'm at 1.8, and I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully everything is good. So I'm going to turn that back off, and we're going to kind of work our way across. We will get into f-stops, the aperture, the iris, what all of that means and how it creatively impacts your videos at a future point. But right now, we just need to know that you can't control that, but the best camera on your phone is the 1X camera, and it has the best aperture for you. Next to that, moving to the right, you will see we've got several zeros separated by a colon. I learned in a previous attempt that while I'm screen recording, if I hit record on my Blackmagic phone or app, then it will give me an error code. So I'm not going to hit record right now. I'll just tell you that from left to right, those go with the first two zeros. That's going to be hours. Then go to minutes, then go to seconds, then go to frames. That is called timecode. It is the basis of everything you will do in editing. It is very, very important for you to know what timecode is, and in a lot of situations, you want to be able to synchronize your timecode if you are recording on multiple devices. In this case, we're not really going to worry about that. I have mine set to record run, which means when I hit record, it just starts counting up frames, and it goes from frames to seconds to minutes to hours. I've never recorded more than a couple of minutes of video on the Blackmagic Camera App, so I don't know really what that would ultimately do, but that is time code. Very, very important. Again, for quiz purposes, left to right, you're looking at hours, minutes, seconds, frames. And remember, a frame is a single still picture inside of your video. A frame is also the border around your image, so we can talk about that. But when I'm talking about frames right now, I'm talking about still pictures in your video. The next option that we have, you will see that is called ISO. That is set to 64 for me right now. And typically you want that to be as low as you can get it, because what is happening with the ISO is it is digitally boosting the light. So the higher that number, you can see, the brighter my image gets. And what happens, I mean, obviously at this point, because it's bright enough out here that it's overexposing. But if it were dark and I were adding more light to this, what eventually would happen is you would see a lot of grain in the image, a little snowy kind of look on top of your video that looks really, really bad. And you want to avoid that whenever possible. I'm going to drop this down a little bit because this is a very important thing. And again, you want it to be as low as possible. And I think right now I'm okay with like a 125. It does not necessarily correlate to the shutter and frame rate as in terms of like a fraction, the way the shutter does to frame rate. The ISO is really just have it as low as you can have it and get a good quality image. It will not make your image darker. Like if you go all the way down to 55, that's as dark as the ISO will do. It is not making anything darker. ISO is only adding a digitized version of light into your video, and it just looks really bad. On some cameras, that is going to be called gain. You can adjust either the ISO or the gain. It is two different names for something that does basically the same thing. There are differences. especially in the way they are measured. But in this case, we're going to go with ISO and try to keep it as low as we can to still get a good image. I'm going to click off of that. So now I can see that I have a white balance. So that is the next thing, WB. And you can see that there's an A up there next to my white balance. Right now you can see that the white balance is by default at 4340. That is measured in Kelvin. You can see when I click on it, it says 4340K. Kelvin is the measurement unit for light color. And I know that's kind of a strange thing, but light can either be warm or it can be cool or it can be white in the middle. And so you will notice that when I go in and adjust these, and I can't if it's set to auto, but I'm going to turn off auto, that when I go in and adjust these, it actually changes things. What is kind of the hard thing to wrap your head around here is this is a cool image, but technically 2500K is a warm color. It is very confusing because if you're outside and the light is set a certain way, the light outside is typically going to be at 5600 Kelvin. And you can see that actually looks pretty good. The light during the day is going to be 5600 Kelvin. If I set this down here, it's going to make it blue. It's going to make it not look very good. If I take it all the way up, it's going to make it orange. So that's a warm image, but a cool number. A 10K Kelvin is going to be really a cool temperature, but in this case, it's a warm image. And I'll be honest with y'all, this is one of the most confusing parts of video and film to me. What I know is if you have a white balance that is wrong, it is really hard to fix that in editing. So you want to try to get that right as much as possible. There's a specific way to do that when you're using a video camera. In this case, what I would do is if I were filming outside and I had something that was white that I could use as a white balance card, and it needs to be pure white, and I don't have anything available to me right now. But if I were outside or wherever I was, I would use a white piece of paper or something that I could zoom in on. I would hit auto and I would let my camera get on that. And then I would hit lock. I would let it say, okay, this is the color it should be. And then I would hit lock. In this case, maybe I want it to be this and I want it to stay that. Then I'm going to hit lock. And now nothing is going to change my white balance. I'm going to get the image that I want. Long story short, what you are doing with white balance is you are telling the camera, okay, this is what color pure white is in this image, in this lighting environment. And it will then tell the camera, okay, if this is white, this is what every other color is. And it will correct the colors so that they look the way they are supposed to look. White balance is very, very important. You want to make sure that you control white balance, and you want to make sure that your white balance isn't changing while you are filming, because it will be really hard to fix anything like that when you come back. In this case right now, I'm going to turn off the lock. I'm going to hit auto one more time just so that my camera is like, yeah, I think that's the color it should be. Then I'm going to hit lock. And now when I tap that, you will see that it's not going to change. My image is going to be locked to those colors. And that's right. That's the way it should be. You just have to remember when you move and the lighting changes, you have to adjust the white balance every time. So you're going to come and unlock that, and you're going to hit auto and let it adjust, and then you'll hit lock again, and then you don't have to worry about it. Next to that, you will see tint. I will be honest with you, this is a Blackmagic specific thing. I have never really figured out. I like to just put it on 0 tint, and then I just adjust the white balance, and I never adjust the tint. You could come in there and do that if you want to, but I don't really know what purpose that serves. All right, next to that, you will see it says 4K and then 16:9. That is telling us that we are filming in 4K resolution. Remember, 4K is talking about the size of the image. It is not talking about the quality of the image. The quality is determined by the bit rate that you're recording. Resolution is just telling you the dimensions of that image. And so 4K is what we're going to use because when we actually go into edit, we can adjust this and make it fit into other resolutions. And it's a lot easier to take something big like 4K and shrink it down to HD because it still looks good. But if you were to shoot HD and then stretch it to fit 4K, that's not going to look as good. It's going to lose quality. So those are the main functions that you have when it comes to controlling the look of the camera. There's a lot of other tools on here, and we're going to get into those in another video.